The year was 2547, and Commander Daniel Price stood in front of the largest display screen on Nexus Prime Station. His eyes were fixed on a single date that glowed in amber text across the historical records. March 15th, 2297. That was the last time anyone in the galaxy had heard from Earth. 250 years of complete silence. No transmissions, no signals, no responses to any attempts at contact. It was as if humanity's homeworld had simply vanished from existence, leaving only the scattered colony worlds that had been established before the silence began. Daniel had been born on New Terra, a human colony 300 light-years from Earth. He had never seen the homeworld, never walked on the soil that had given birth to his species. Everything he knew about Earth came from old records, faded photographs, and stories passed down through generations of colonists. The blue marble hanging in space, the great cities, the oceans that covered most of the planet's surface, all of it was legend now, mythology for humans who had grown up under alien stars. The galactic community had 17 member species, each with their own theories about what had happened to Earth. The Velkari Empire, proud and militaristic, insisted that humans had destroyed themselves in nuclear war. They pointed to historical records showing humanity's violent tendencies and constant conflicts. The Thren Collective, insectoid beings who thought in patterns of hive logic, believed that human individualism had caused societal collapse. The Morrises, who lived in underwater cities on their homeworld, thought perhaps a plague had wiped out the population. Every species had an explanation, and none of them were particularly flattering to humanity. Daniel closed the historical file and walked through the corridors of Nexus Prime. The station was massive, an artificial world built at the intersection of several major trade routes. Beings from all 17 species moved through the halls, conducting business, sharing information, maintaining the delicate balance of galactic politics. Humans were here too. Colonists like Daniel, who represented the scattered settlements that humanity had managed to establish before. Earth went dark. Captain Lisa Morgan was waiting for him in the observation lounge. She was younger than Daniel, maybe 30 standard years, with dark hair pulled back in a practical bun and eyes that held the kind of determination that came from growing up on frontier worlds. Her ship, the Horizon's Edge, was docked at the station for resupply. It was an exploration vessel, small and fast, designed for long-range missions into uncharted space. They approved it, Daniel said as he approached her. The Council granted permission for an expedition to Earth. Lisa's face lit up with excitement. When do we leave? As soon as you can assemble a crew, Daniel replied. The Council wants observers from 3 species to accompany you: the Thren, the Morrises, and the Chindari. The Chindari were telepaths, beings of pure energy who inhabited crystalline structures. They rarely involved themselves in galactic affairs, preferring to observe and record rather than participate. Their inclusion in the expedition suggested that the Council was taking this seriously. I'll need my usual crew, Lisa said. Ben Harris as first officer, Sophie Klein on engineering, and Kevin Drake for science. They're all good people, all human, all desperate to see Earth. Daniel nodded. I'll send the authorization. Lisa, I need you to understand something. The Council is divided on this. Half of them think Earth is a dead world and we're wasting resources. The other half is worried about what we might find. The Velkari have been particularly vocal about opposing the mission. Let them oppose, Lisa said. Earth is our homeworld. We have a right to know what happened. The next 2 weeks were a blur of preparation. Lisa gathered her crew and met with the alien observers who would be joining them. The Thren representative was a being named Click Thought Pattern, though it allowed the humans to call it Click for simplicity. It had 6 legs and compound eyes that saw in spectrums humans couldn't perceive. The Morris's observer was called Deep Current, a being that needed a water-filled environment suit to survive in the station's atmosphere. The Chindari observer had no name that humans could pronounce, so they simply called it Shimmer, so the way its crystalline body reflected light. The Horizon's Edge departed. In Nexus Prime on a cool morning by station time. Lisa stood on the bridge, watching the massive station shrink behind them as they accelerated toward the edge of known space. Ben stood beside her, his hands moving across the navigation console with practiced ease. 3 months to Earth, he said. Assuming we don't run into any problems, we'll run into problems, Sophie called from the engineering station. We always run into problems. Kevin laughed from his position at the science station. That's because you always find problems that don't exist. I find problems before they become disasters, Sophie shot back. There's a difference. Lisa smiled at the familiar banter. Her crew had been together for 5 years, exploring the edges of known space. Mapping new systems, making first contact with isolated settlements. They worked well together, trusted each other completely. That trust would be important in the weeks ahead. The journey was long, but uneventful. The Horizon's Edge traveled through neutral space, avoiding the territories controlled by the more aggressive species. They passed merchant ships, military patrols, and the occasional explorer like themselves. News of their mission had spread, and many ships contacted them to wish them luck, or to ask them to carry messages to Earth, if anyone was still alive there. As they drew closer to the Sol system, Kevin began detecting something unusual. Captain, I'm picking up readings at the edge of the system. It's faint, barely registering on our sensors. What kind of readings? Lisa asked. Energy signatures, Kevin replied. But they're unlike anything I've seen before. It's as if space itself has a different texture here. Click-thought pattern moved closer to Kevin's station, its antennae twitching. The patterns are not natural. This is artificial construction. A barrier? Ben suggested. Possibly, Kevin said. But if it is, it's incredibly sophisticated. Our sensors can barely detect it. Lisa felt her heart rate increase. Move us forward slowly. The Horizon's Edge crept toward the Sol system at minimal speed. The energy readings grew stronger, and suddenly Kevin's console lit up with warnings. Captain, we just crossed some kind of threshold. The readings are off the scale now. I'll stop, Lisa ordered, but nothing happened. The ship continued moving forward, pulled by forces that the engines couldn't counter, and then, just as suddenly as it began, the pulling stopped. They were inside something, surrounded by a field of energy that hadn't been there a moment before. We're receiving a transmission, Ben said, his voice tight with tension. On screen, Lisa ordered text appeared on the main display. Written in standard English but using protocols that were over 250 years old. Authentication requested. Identify vessel and state purpose. Lisa's hands shook as she typed her response. Using codes from the historical database that she had studied for months. This is the exploration vessel Horizon's Edge, human registry, seeking contact with Earth. There was a pause that seemed to last forever. Then new text appeared. Authentication accepted. Welcome home. Proceed to escort coordinates. Defensive protocols suspended for your vessel. Defensive protocols? Sophie said. What does that mean? Lisa didn't answer. She was staring at the view screen as something appeared in front of them. Ships. Dozens of ships. Sleek and elegant, and unlike anything she had ever seen before. They were clearly human in design, but the technology was centuries beyond what the colonies possessed. One of the ships moved closer. A voice came through the communications system. Horizon's Edge, this is Admiral Ryan Cooper of Earth Defense Fleet. On behalf of humanity, welcome to the Sol system. We've been waiting for you. Admiral Ryan Cooper's ship moved alongside the Horizon's Edge with a grace that seemed impossible for something so large. Lisa watched through the view screen as the Earth vessel matched their speed perfectly, its hull gleaming with a material that seemed to shift colors in the starlight. The design was human, she could see that much, but everything else about it spoke of technology that shouldn't exist. Captain Morgan, the Admiral's voice came through the speakers again. We'll escort you to Earth. Please follow our navigation guidance, and do not deviate from the prescribed route. The Sol system has defensive measures in place that we need to guide you through safely. Lisa activated her communication link. Admiral Cooper, we have many questions. I'm sure you do, Ryan said, and there was something like sympathy in his voice. All of them will be answered when you reach Earth. For now, trust that you are safe and welcome here. The escort fleet formed around the Horizon's Edge. 6 ships in total, each one radiating power, that made Lisa's vessel seem like a child's toy. Ben worked the navigation console, following the coordinates that were being transmitted to them. Kevin couldn't take his eyes off his sensor readings. "Captain, the numbers don't make sense," Kevin said. "These ships are generating energy levels that should require reactors the size of small moons. But I'm not detecting any conventional power sources. It's like they're pulling energy from nowhere." Shimmer, the Chindari observer, moved closer to the view screen. Its crystalline body pulsed with light as it communicated telepathically with Lisa. The inn. RG patterns are not from nowhere. They are from somewhere else. Another layer of reality, perhaps. "What does that mean?" Lisa asked. The Sindari's light pulsed again. "I do not know. This is beyond my understanding." As they moved deeper into the Sol system, more impossible sights appeared. The asteroid belt had been transformed into a network of mining stations and habitats, all connected by streams of ships moving resources in organized patterns. Mars appeared on their long-range sensors, and Kevin's voice cracked with disbelief when he reported what he was seeing. "Mars is green," he said. "I'm detecting oxygen in the atmosphere, liquid water on the surface, and vegetation across 40% of the landmass. Captain, they terraformed Mars." "How long does terraforming take?" Ben asked. "Centuries," Kevin replied. "At least with any technology we know about." The moon came into view next, and it too had changed. Great domed cities covered its surface, connected by tubes that stretched across the gray landscape. Lights glowed from within the domes, suggesting populations in the millions. But it was Earth itself that took Lisa's breath away when it finally appeared before them. The planet was exactly as the old images showed it, blue and white and beautiful beyond words. But surrounding it was a ring of structures that boggled the mind. Space elevators, at least 100 of them, stretched from the surface to massive orbital platforms. Habitats the size of cities floated in perfect formation. Defensive platforms bristled with weapons that Lisa couldn't even begin to identify. And everywhere, ships moved in patterns so organized and efficient that it looked like a choreographed dance. 20 billion people, Ryan's voice said, as if he could sense her wonder. 10 billion on Earth itself. Another 10 billion in orbital habitats and on the Moon and Mars. Humanity has grown quite a bit since we went silent. "Admiral," Lisa said carefully, "what happened here? Why did Earth stop all communication?" "That conversation requires more than a radio transmission," Ryan replied. "Director Amanda Wells is waiting to meet with you on the surface. She'll explain everything." The Horizon's edge was guided to one of the orbital platforms, where it docked with a gentleness that spoke of incredible precision. Lisa gathered her crew and the alien observers, and they made their way through the airlock into the Earth station. The interior was stunning. Clean white walls glowed with soft light. Holographic displays showed information in languages that Lisa recognized and some that she didn't. People moved through the corridors with purpose, and what struck Lisa most was how calm everyone seemed. There was no rushing, no chaos, no raised voices. Everyone moved as if they were part of some greater coordination that she couldn't see. "Welcome to Orbital Station 7, a woman's voice said, and Lisa turned to see Director Amanda Wells approaching. She was in her 50s, with gray hair and warm brown eyes that crinkled when she smiled. "Captain Morgan, Commander Price told us you were coming. We've been preparing for this reunion for a long time." "Director Wells," Lisa said, shaking the offered hand. "We need answers, and you'll have them," Amanda said. "But first, let me show you Earth. You've come a long way to see your homeworld. It would be a shame to keep you waiting in orbit." They took a shuttle down to the surface, and Lisa pressed her face against the window like a child. The space elevator stretched above them and below them. A thread connecting the heavens to the Earth, cities sprawled across continents. Green spaces carefully preserved between areas of development. The oceans sparkled in the sunlight. They landed. In Geneva, in a complex that seemed to be part office building and part garden, trees grew inside the structure, their branches reaching toward skylights that let in natural sun. Water features created peaceful sounds that echoed through the halls. Amanda led them through corridors filled with art and music, past rooms where people worked quietly at tasks that Lisa couldn't identify. "Your people seem very calm," Click Thought Pattern observed. "There is no chaos pattern, no disorder." This is unusual for humans based on historical records. Amanda smiled. We've learned a few things in 250 years. Humanity has changed, though perhaps not in the ways you might expect. They entered a large room that Amanda called the archive. Walls were covered in displays showing images, videos, and data streams. In the center of the room was a circular table with chairs arranged around it. Amanda gestured for everyone to sit. What I'm about to tell you will seem impossible, Amanda began. You'll doubt it, question it, perhaps even refuse to believe it. But everything I say is true and can be verified. Lisa leaned forward. Tell us what happened. Why did Earth go silent? Amanda took a deep breath. In 2297, humanity made a discovery. Dr. Nathan Pierce and his research team were studying quantum mechanics at the Geneva Institute when they detected something that changed everything. They found what they called the psionic field, a dimension of reality that exists alongside normal space. It's not visible, not detectable by conventional instruments, but it's there. And human consciousness can access it. Psionics, Kevin said. Like telepathy and telekinesis? That's science fiction. It was science fiction, Amanda said, until it wasn't. Dr. Pierce proved that the human mind could interact with this field, could use it to affect the physical world. Not through technology, but through thought itself. The implications were staggering. Deep Current, the Morris's observer, shifted in its water-filled suit. This is not possible. The laws of physics do not allow for such things. The laws of physics, as we understood them, didn't allow for it, Amanda corrected. But the universe is larger and stranger than we thought. The psionic field exists whether we believe in it or not. Show us, Lisa said. Prove it. Amanda nodded and gestured to one of her assistants, a young man who had been standing quietly by the door. He stepped forward and held out his hand. A coffee cup sat on the table, and without touching it, without any visible technology, the cup rose into the air. It floated across the table and settled gently in the young man's hand. Trick's click thought pattern said, hidden technology, magnetic fields, something rational. The young man smiled, and suddenly Lisa felt something in her mind. Not words. Exactly, but a presence, a gentle touch that conveyed meaning without language. He was showing her that he was real, that what he was doing was genuine. Amanda continued speaking. When we discovered the psionic field, everything changed. But it wasn't a blessing. It was dangerous. Untrained humans accessing the field caused accidents. Buildings collapsed, people died, entire cities were at risk. We needed time to learn, to develop training methods, to make ourselves safe. So you cut off all communication, Lisa said. We did, Amanda confirmed, but there was another reason. When we accessed the psionic field, we detected something else, something ancient and hostile. Machines in deep space, designed to hunt species that develop psionic abilities. They've been dormant for millions of years, but our awakening was like a beacon to them. We call them the architects, and they're coming. They've destroyed civilizations before, and they're coming to destroy us now. We had to prepare, and we couldn't risk the rest of the galaxy learning what we were doing until we were ready. Silence in the archive room was heavy after Amanda's words. Lisa stared at the director, trying to process what she had just heard. Ancient machines that hunted species with psionic abilities. It sounded like something from a horror story, not reality. Ben was shaking his head slowly, and Kevin had his arms crossed in obvious skepticism. You're telling us that Earth went silent for 250 years because of machines that might be coming to attack us? Lisa said. Machines that no one in the galaxy has ever seen or detected? They've been seen, Amanda replied. Just not recognized for what they are. The architects have left evidence across the galaxy, but younger species misinterpreted it. The ruins on Velnine, the sterilized worlds in the outer reaches, the great extinction that wiped out the Koresh civilization 12,000 years ago. These weren't natural disasters or wars, they were purges. Amanda activated one of the displays on the wall. Images appeared, showing dead worlds, shattered cities, and landscapes that had been burned clean of all life. When we developed our psionic abilities, we also developed the ability to see things we couldn't before. Psychic echoes, imprints left behind in the psionic field itself. We could feel the terror of the species that died, see glimpses of what killed them, and we saw the architects.
Another image appeared.
And this one made Lisa's blood run cold. It was massive, the size of a moon, with a surface that looked organic and mechanical at the same time. Tendrils extended from its core, each one tipped with weapons that glowed with malevolent energy. The image quality was poor, reconstructed, from psychic impressions rather than actual photographs, but the threat it represented was clear. The architects are ancient, Amanda continued. We don't know who built them or why, but their purpose is obvious. They exist to prevent any species from developing advanced psionic abilities. Maybe their creators feared what such species might become. Maybe they were protecting the galaxy from some threat that we don't understand. It doesn't matter. What matters is that they've destroyed dozens of civilizations, and now they're aware of us. Shimmer's crystalline body pulsed with agitated light. The Chindari communic. Captain Morgan has returned from Earth with information that warrants our attention. We will hear her report. Lisa walked to the center of the chamber, feeling the weight of hundreds of eyes upon her. She activated a holographic display and began her presentation. Images of Earth appeared, showing the transformed homeworld, the massive orbital platforms, the terraformed Mars. Then she showed them the architects. 250 years ago, humanity discovered something called the psionic field, Lisa began. This discovery gave us abilities that seem impossible, but it also awakened something ancient and hostile. These machines, which we call architects, exist to destroy species that develop psionic abilities. They're coming, and they'll reach the galactic rim in less than 2 years. The chamber erupted in noise. Some species voiced disbelief, others demanded proof, and the Valkyrie ambassador stood and pointed an accusing finger at Lisa. This is ridiculous, the Valkyrie said. Humanity isolates itself for centuries, and then returns with stories of ancient machines and magical powers. This is clearly an attempt to justify their abandonment of the galactic community and to intimidate us with superior technology. It's not a story, Lisa said firmly. Earth's fleet is in orbit around this station right now. Admiral Ryan Cooper is prepared to demonstrate their capabilities and to show you proof of the architect threat. I will not be intimidated by human warships, the Valkyrie ambassador declared. This council should demand that Earth surrender their technology immediately or be declared hostile to the galactic community. Several other species voiced agreement with the Valkyrie position. Lisa felt frustration building inside her. They weren't listening. They were too focused on politics and pride to see the real threat. Admiral Ryan entered the chamber at that moment. Moving with calm confidence despite the hostile atmosphere, with the Council's permission, I'd like to address these concerns directly. Deepflow gestured for Ryan to continue. The Admiral activated his own display, showing real-time feeds from Earth's monitoring stations. The images showed 3 architect machines moving through deep space, their massive forms warping reality around them. This is happening right now, Ryan said. These machines are real, and they're coming. We understand your skepticism. We would be skeptical too if someone brought us this information. That's why we're prepared to demonstrate Earth's capabilities, and to share our sensor data with any species that wishes to verify it. And what do you want in return? The Valkyrie ambassador asked. What is Earth's price for this supposed protection? We don't want anything except cooperation, Ryan replied. The architects are a threat to all sentient life. We can fight them, but we'll be more effective if we work together. Earth is offering an alliance, not demanding submission. The debate continued for hours. Some species immediately recognized the danger and pledged to work with Earth. The Thren Collective, after analyzing the data Lisa had brought back, confirmed that the architect threat matched patterns in their own ancient records. The Marasas expressed willingness to help in any way they could. The Chindari, through Shimmer, communicated that they had suspected something like the architects existed but had never found proof until now. But others remained hostile or skeptical. The Valkyrie and 5 client species under their influence refused to accept Earth's claims. They saw humanity's advancement as a threat to their own power and position in the galaxy. 4 species declared themselves neutral. willing to commit until they saw actual proof of the architects. Nicole Foster approached Lisa after the session ended. She looked exhausted and worried. This is bad. The council is splitting apart. If we can't unite against the architects, we'll be destroyed piecemeal. Then we need to give them proof they can't deny, Lisa said. Ryan, can your fleet demonstrate your capabilities here at the station? We can, Ryan confirmed. Though I'm concerned about how the Valkyrie will react. They're already treating this as an act of aggression. Let them, Lisa said, with more confidence than she felt. When they see what Earth can do, maybe they'll understand why you needed those 250 years. The demonstration took place in open space near Nexus Prime. Ships from various species gathered to observe. Some curious, and some openly hostile. Ryan's fleet performed maneuvers that defied conventional physics, showed defensive capabilities that seemed impossible, and demonstrated weapons that could probably destroy small moons. The display was impressive but carefully controlled to avoid seeming like a threat. Captain Chris Martinez, one of Ryan's squadron commanders, explained the technology to the gathered observers. What you're seeing isn't magic. It's the result of humanity learning to manipulate the psionic field. We can share this knowledge with other species. Though the process takes time and not every species may be compatible with psionic training, you're saying you can give us these abilities? One observer asked. We can try to teach you, Chris replied. But it's not something that can be forced or rushed. Psionic abilities develop naturally in some individuals and require years of training to use safely. What we can offer more immediately is technology that interfaces with the psionic field. Weapons and defenses that your species can use, even without personal psionic abilities. Lisa watched the reactions carefully. Some species were eager to learn more, seeing opportunity in Earth's offer. Others remained suspicious, viewing this as humanity trying to gain control over them. The Valkyrie delegation left before the demonstration ended. Making their displeasure clear, Director Amanda Wells arrived at the station 2 days. Later, with a larger delegation from Earth, she brought scientists, engineers, and trainers who could begin working with species that wanted to prepare for the architect threat. She also brought an offer that surprised everyone. Earth proposes the formation of a new alliance, Amanda announced to the council. Not to replace the existing galactic community, but to supplement it. Species that join this alliance will receive access to our defensive technology, training in basic psionic techniques where applicable, and protection from the architects when they arrive. In return, we ask only that you contribute what resources you can to the common defense. 7 species joined immediately. The Thren committed their entire fleet. The Morrises offered their underwater manufacturing facilities. The Chindari shared their historical knowledge. For others pledged support within days. But the Valkyrie remained opposed, and they were not alone in their resistance. Lisa found herself caught between 2 worlds. She was human but had spent her entire life in the colonies, loyal to the galactic community that Earth had abandoned. Now Earth was back, offering salvation from a threat that most species didn't even believe existed. She understood both sides, and that understanding made her valuable as a bridge between them. Amanda made Lisa an offer one evening as they walked through the gardens on Nexus Prime. Come back to Earth. Receive proper psionic training. You could become more than a ship captain. You could be a representative, someone who understands both the colonies and the homeworld. Lisa looked up at the stars visible through the station's transparent dome. Somewhere out there, the architects were coming. Somewhere out there, her future was being decided by forces beyond her control. She thought about her ship, her crew, the life she had built for herself. But she also thought about what was coming and what humanity needed to survive. I'll do it, Lisa said. But on one condition, my crew comes with me. Ben, Sophie, and Kevin deserve the same chance I'm getting. Agreed, Amanda said. Earth welcomes all of you home. 14 months had passed since Earth returned to the galaxy, and Lisa Morgan barely recognized herself anymore. She stood in the training facility on Earth, her eyes closed, feeling the psionic field around her like a vast ocean of energy. It had taken months of careful instruction to even perceive it, and many more months to learn how to interact with it safely. Now she could lift objects with her mind. share thoughts with others who had similar training, and sense threats that conventional sensors couldn't detect. Ben. Sophie and Kevin had trained alongside her. They all wore the gray uniforms of Earth's reunification fleet, a new organization dedicated to bringing the scattered human colonies back into contact with the homeworld. But their training was interrupted when the alarms sounded across every facility on Earth. All personnel to stations. Amanda's voice came through the communication system. The architects have arrived at the Galactic Rim. The Velkari Empire is engaging them. Lisa ran to the command center with her crew. The main display showed feeds from monitoring stations at the edge of Velkari space. The architect machine was there, massive and terrifying, exactly as the images had shown. And surrounding it was the entire Velkari fleet. Hundreds of warships unleashing everything they had. They didn't wait for support, Admiral Ryan said grimly. They wanted to prove they didn't need Earth's help. Lisa watched in horror as the battle unfolded. The Velkari ships fired weapons that could crack planets, but the architects simply absorbed the energy. Its tendrils lashed out, and every ship they touched simply ceased to exist. No explosion, no debris, just instant annihilation. The Velkari fleet fought bravely, but they were hopelessly outmatched. How long until we can get there? Lisa asked. 2 hours at maximum speed, Ryan replied. But that might be too late. Then we leave now, Lisa said. Every minute we delay, more people die. The Redemption and 15 other Earth ships jumped into psionic space, folding reality around themselves to cross vast distances in moments. When they emerged near Velkari space, Lisa saw devastation beyond imagination. 17 worlds were burning. The Velkari homeworld was under direct assault, its defensive platforms being torn apart by the architects' attacks. All ships. Engage, Ryan ordered. The Earth fleet moved as one, their psionic links allowing perfect coordination. They struck the architect from multiple angles simultaneously, their weapons designed specifically to disrupt the machines at a quantum level. The architect turned its attention from the Velkari homeworld to face this new threat. Lisa was assigned to a gunnery station. She felt the ship's weapon systems through her psionic connection. It wasn't like firing conventional weapons. She had to focus her will, shape the psionic energy, and direct it at the enemy. Around her, the rest of the crew did the same, and their combined efforts created attacks that actually damaged the architect. The battle lasted 6 hours. The architect was powerful, but it had been designed to fight species without psionic abilities. Against Earth's fleet, it struggled. When Ryan gave the final order, 20 ships fired simultaneously at the architect's core, and the ancient machine shattered into fragments that burned up in the atmosphere of a nearby gas giant. The victory came at a cost. 3 Earth ships were destroyed, their crews of over 2,000 people gone in moments. But the Velkari homeworld was saved, along with billions of lives. When the battle ended, Lisa found herself crying for people she had never met. Feeling the echoes of their last moments through the psionic field, the Velkari. Ambassador contacted Ryan's ship hours later. His proud bearing was gone, replaced by something that looked like humility. Admiral Cooper, the Velkari Empire, owes humanity a debt. We were wrong to doubt you. We were wrong about everything. There's no time for apologies, Ryan said. 2 more architects are coming, and we need every ship, every species, every resource we can muster. Will the Velkari join the alliance? We will, the ambassador said. And we will follow Earth's command in this war. News of the battle spread across the galaxy within hours. The species that had remained neutral suddenly wanted to join the alliance. Even those that had been skeptical now understood that the threat was real. The Galactic Council reformed under new principles, with Earth taking a leadership role not through force, but through necessity. Lisa returned to her training, pushing herself harder than before. She had seen what the architects could do, and she knew that the next battles would be even more difficult. Amanda assigned her to work with representatives from other species, teaching them basic defensive techniques that might keep them alive when the architects attacked. The Thren were particularly quick learners. Their hive mind structure made psionic coordination natural for them. The Morrises struggled at first, but eventually found ways to adapt the techniques to their unique biology. The Chindari, already possessing some psionic abilities, became valuable teachers themselves. 8 months after the first battle, the second architect arrived. It attacked the Thren homeworld, and this time the combined fleet was ready. Earth ships fought alongside Thren vessels, Moros's cruisers, and even Velkari battleships. The coordination wasn't perfect, but it was enough. The second architect fell after 3 days of continuous fighting. The third architect was the largest and most dangerous. It appeared at Nexus Prime itself, apparently determined to destroy the heart of galactic civilization. Every available ship converged on the station, forming the largest fleet in galactic history. Earth's forces were stretched thin, their ships damaged from previous battles, their crews exhausted. Lisa commanded her own ship now, a fast attack vessel called the Pathfinder. She led a squadron of mixed species, humans working alongside aliens who had trained in the new defensive techniques. When the battle for Nexus Prime began, she felt fear, but also determination. This was what humanity had prepared for during those 250 years of silence. The battle was desperate and chaotic. Ships burned and died on both sides. The architect's weapons tore through conventional defenses like paper, but slowly, methodically, the combined fleet wore it down. Psionic attacks disrupted its systems. Conventional weapons exploited the weaknesses those attacks created, and through it all, humanity coordinated the defense. Their psionic abilities allowing them to direct the fleet with precision that saved countless lives. Admiral Ryan's ship, the Redemption, took the worst of the architect's attacks. Lisa watched in horror as the flagship's shields failed and its hull began to break apart. But Ryan didn't retreat. Instead, he pushed forward, using his damaged ship as a battering ram to create an opening for other vessels to exploit. All ships target the core, Ryan's voice came through, strained but steady. Now, while it's exposed, every ship fired at once. Earth vessels unleashed psionic weapons. Thren ships added their plasma cannons. Moros's cruisers fired their molecular disruptors. And even the civilian vessels that had armed themselves contributed to the barrage. The architect's core shattered, and the ancient machine died in an explosion that lit up space for light years in every direction. Ryan survived. Though his ship was a wreck, when Lisa saw him again weeks later, he looked older but satisfied. We did it. We actually did it. The aftermath of the war changed everything. Earth didn't try to dominate the galaxy, despite having proven their superiority. Instead, Amanda and the other Earth leaders worked to share knowledge freely, helping every species develop their own potential. The Academy of Unity was established on Earth, a place where beings from across the galaxy could come to learn and grow together. Lisa was appointed as the first ambassador of the reunification fleet, tasked with bringing the scattered human colonies back into contact with Earth. It was a responsibility she took seriously, knowing that humanity's future depended on staying united. One evening, she stood on the observation deck of the Pathfinder, looking at Earth behind her and the stars ahead. Director Amanda joined her, carrying 2 cups of coffee. Thinking about the journey ahead? Amanda asked. Always, Lisa replied. There are so many colonies out there that still don't know what happened. They think Earth abandoned them. Then show them the truth, Amanda said. Show them that Earth never abandoned anyone. We just needed time to become strong enough to protect everyone, Lisa smiled. You know what the irony is? The architects were designed to prevent species from becoming too powerful. But all they did was force humanity to become exactly what they feared. We had to evolve or die. And we chose to evolve, Amanda said. Not just for ourselves, but for everyone. That's what makes humanity special. Not our technology or our psionic abilities, but our willingness to stand up for others, even when it costs us everything. Commander Daniel Price sent Lisa a message as the Pathfinder prepared to depart on its mission to the colonies. His words were simple, but they carried weight. We thought we were searching for Earth to find our past. Instead, we found our future. The silence is over. Let's make some noise. Lisa read the message and laughed. Daniel was right. For 250 years, Earth had been silent, preparing for a threat that would have destroyed the galaxy. Now, humanity was back, transformed by necessity into something greater than they had been before. They had become guardians, protectors, teachers. They had changed everything, and in doing so, they had given the galaxy something it desperately needed: hope. The Pathfinder's engines hummed to life, and Lisa felt the ship respond to her thoughts through the psionic interface. Around her, the crew prepared for departure, human and alien working together in harmony. This was the new galaxy, one where Earth's silence had ended and a new era had begun. She activated the communication system and spoke to her crew. All stations report ready. Let's go bring our people home. The ship jumped into psionic space, and the stars blurred around them. Humanity had arrived, and everything had changed.